Welcome back to this episode of Unpacked Suitcases in our 3-part series discussing blended families. Today I have a special episode with the dynamic that initiated my own blended family. Odell, my husband, and Ebony, our beautiful addition to our blended family. They both have a son together, Odell, and we're going to discuss the impact of their level of communication and forgiveness in order to push us forward to establish a good, blended family. So I'm gonna start with you, Odell. With you guys going out of your relationship, how do you think you were able to gear how we were to establish our own blended family? Like going into it, you were exiting the relationship with Ebony, but then entering a relationship. Not that it was at the same time, but it overlapped.
I don't think the transition was smooth because we never really had an end. We never had an index. Like it was kind of like we broke up. We didn't have any closure. Mm-hmm. And then on the other end, I was overseas. We had separation. Mm-hmm. So the separation was forced. Mm-hmm. So we didn't have really a lot of time to reconcile. If we wanted to reconcile, we just kind of broke up. And she was like, "I'm done." I was like, "I'm done." And 2 years passed, and then I met you, and we already made an agreement that we weren't going to get back together. So I met you while we were going through divorce, and
But how do you go through forgiveness? Like to me, that's the biggest part. Like when I met him, of course I knew the story, I knew the situation, but I always felt like even if me and you not going to be together, you need to talk to her. Like you need to figure this out.
Yeah.
Even when you move into a different relationship, moving on, like you have to figure this out.
We didn't have that. I think that's the lack. We didn't have forgiveness. We didn't have closure. We didn't have a lot of things. That's where we went wrong at initially. I think in the beginning, like we kind of just dropped one chapter and just started a new chapter without closing the one previously.
You agree with that?
I do. Definitely agree.
And it went on for years.
Yeah.
Yes.
For years. So it's like
neither one of us was mature enough
Yeah.
to initiate.
And those
a
egos.
closure. Leo.
Those
that's
Leo
right.
egos.
The
It was
fire
like this.
sign,
Yeah.
y'all needed the waters, for me
Yeah,
as a
I'm
person.
not giving in. She's like, I'm not giving in. I'm like,
Yes.
whatever. With F you,
Whatever.
and F you too. And let's keep it
Whatever.
moving.
And y'all kept it moving.
We
I
did.
think a lot of people,
For
that's
years.
what they do.
For years.
People are okay with just keeping it moving, even though you have some level of turmoil, like no one's trying to put effort to it. Because to be honest with you, who's going to go first? Who's going to
Right.
say,
That's what,
who's going to say I'm sorry first?
Somebody got to admit fault.
Yeah.
To some
Yep.
extent, and got to admit that they were wrong. And I think neither one of us, at the point we were at the age we were at, 20-something, 21, 22, we
No
were
one
mature
was,
enough.
yeah. You wanted him to come to you and say, well, he was wrong, or accept it, or acknowledge it. And
I had to
think
even
he
accept my
wanted
own faults in it because for a long time I was like, no, I didn't do that.
Oh, say that again, because I don't know if most men say that.
No, I had to accept my own faults in it because for a long time I was like, no, I didn't do nothing. I didn't do anything wrong, but I truly believed that.
Yeah.
And so I acted as such.
Yeah.
So I had to come to a maturity where, you know what, I did a lot of things wrong. I did a lot of things the incorrect way. The things I could have fought for some things. I could have communicated better with some things with you. So I felt like I kind of jacked that up. So
No,
I got to take accountability.
We talked about it though.
Yeah, we
Remember,
did.
it was
We did.
years later, but we finally
We did.
discussed and made an end.
Yeah,
We
but
came to
why do you
an-
think you guys went so long without it? I guess when you break up with somebody, it's easy to break up with them and not see them again and just kind of leave things lingering. But I think because you guys have a child together, I'm coming into it. I'm like, no, you guys need to talk, and once you guys talk, we're going to be a beautiful family.
But we were
Because,
so far apart. We were so far.
Yeah,
The
it was like
military-
out of sight, out of mind, like
Yeah.
distance almost.
Yeah.
Although we had a child together,
Yeah.
it still was
the
just
military
like,
kept us separated.
I don't have to see him. I don't have to bother with him. So it was just like we here and that's that.
Yeah, when we got to a place where we were seeing each other more on a physical aspect, it was more tension.
It's hard to deny that. You can't deny certain things. You can't avoid them.
Yeah.
Once we're close, and
Right.
I'm bumping into you at the store. I'm
Exactly.
like, we're bumping into your family members at the store. We got to kind of we got to deal with this. Yeah.
And when you do come together, and when you guys did come together and talk, it wasn't a long drawn out conversation, am I right? Or was it
We had
kind of straight to the
We had a
point?
few
Or was-
conversations.
So that's what I was gonna say. You think it was it had to be more than one conversation to kind of get to that place where it's like, okay, we're comfortable.
Yeah, we had to
Yeah.
break through some barriers.
Yeah, it was a few conversations, but I feel like the last conversation that we had, I was like, okay. It was like, okay, we talked about it.
But what was it for you? Was it that you had to trust him? Was it a level of trust? Because not to say when you usually break up with somebody, it's a level of mistrust. It's a level of I don't even know this person anymore. You know, things like that. So for me as a woman, trust is important. And it's not that I'm trusting you because we're in this relationship together, but I'm trusting that you, like I always said, you're his mom, Lil O's mom. So you should still have a level of connection with Odell from a trust aspect, respect aspect.
Right.
And I think when you guys were going through that, you didn't feel that.
No, I didn't.
No, we didn't. It took us a long time to get that back because the separation makes you out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
If I don't see you, I ain't got to deal with you.
Exactly.
So it's kind of
That's the
like
same way I feel.
yeah,
It's
we
crazy.
avoid each
really?
other.
You Leo?
Yeah, we avoid each other for so long that it got to a point we didn't know how to communicate.
Yep.
Oh, that's key.
Because I grew
Communication
in a way,
was to not communicate.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
And to assume and go talk to everybody else
Yep.
about
Everybody around the person that you should be talking to.
and we let
We
everybody
did
else's
that.
assumptions kind of feed into our relationship, and it made it worse.
it. Yeah.
It kind of made it worse.
So now you guys had the conversation you guys don't necessarily. I don't feel the tension.
There isn't.
I don't feel it. I feel that you guys do communicate well, and I think that's trickled down to us being able to have what we have as well. I think it's important for people to understand the role for the men, because men, number one, the one thing that Odell said that I'm so surprised he said, and I'm probably going to make it on repeat on this video, is that he had to take accountability. And that's the key part. As you know, men, they have this great position in the family structure to lead.
Yeah.
And if you can't even understand your position and your place and what you need to be accountable for, we can have whatever, but it's not going to be anything if that's not established. So I think with me being on the outside, I get to see you guys from a different lens.
Yeah.
You know, I don't see everything you guys went through relationship wise. I see you guys were together, you have this child. Come on, everybody, let's get along. Like, what's the problem? Oh, it's a lot of damn problems because he did
Not like that at all.
you know.
It wasn't that easy.
It wasn't.
No.
We had to persevere. We definitely had to persevere through some things. And I talked to a lot of my friends. I'm like, dude, you saying your baby mama tripping, and that's the reason why you don't see your son. That's not enough reason.
No.
You know. So I know a lot of people looking at me. My son looking at me. So I had to be an example. Like, you know,
Right.
I gotta man up.
Yeah. I used to tell Odell that one thing that's important to always remember is that you guys don't have to agree on everything. But Lil O needs to know that you love his mother, that you respect her, because, and he doesn't have to be in love with her, but that's important for him to see how he talks to you, how he handles when you guys don't agree.
His
Because,
energy.
yes, because even with our kids, that's important for them to see that as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's important for Lil O to at least get that, at the least, if we're not all in the
Let's
same
cry.
house.
No.
Yes.
It's something on my face.
So he's about to crack
No.
you. Damn.
Tissue, please.
No.
Are you getting emotional?
No, it's something on my face.
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, you are.
I promise you, it was something on my face.
It's okay. It's okay.
Tissue.
But let me ask you this: why didn't you introduce us?
It was
No,
awkward.
be honest. Like,
No, it was really awkward. Like, it was a lot of pressure on me at that moment. Like, it was like, I know how Ebony is, and then I know how you are.
Halo.
So I was kind of like, so what's the proper introduction to this? Like I said, we didn't have any closure.
Yeah.
We didn't have any closure. I didn't know what she was going to say. I didn't know how she was going to react. I didn't even know how I was going to properly introduce you. I didn't know what to say. So it was a lot of it was immaturity on my part. Yeah.
So if you was to go back, how would you advise someone else in this situation to introduce?
You got to have closure. First, you got to have closure with one relationship, the proper closure. We got to understand either we're going to reconcile or we're not going to reconcile. That got to be established. And then we got to still have a friendship. We have a child. That's the one thing I did wrong. You know, I should have always shown Odell that, you know what, I still love your mom.
Yeah.
Because he could feel the animosity.
Yeah.
He felt that I didn't like her in a certain way, or I wasn't feeling her, and I don't think that I did right. I know I didn't do right with that. So I had to show him love the whole time and show him that I loved her, even though we didn't agree. Because at one point in time I loved her. So for me acting like I don't love her still,
Right.
like, come on now, that's crazy. I mean, I don't love her the same way that I loved her then, but
Right.
I'm always gonna have love for you. So it is what it is.
I've always felt y'all energy, that you guys were good friends.
Yeah.
And I don't think that should be absent just because you are not together.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think I honestly can say when you guys were able to clear that energy, it wasn't so awkward for me coming on the outside. Because sometimes I didn't know how to come in.
Right.
And I was like excited, like, no, one big happy family. Like, we can take family pictures. And Ebony was like,
there was her approach. There was her approach. We was like, no, we're not really feeling each other like that. Calm down.
I just didn't want to accept the social norms that we don't supposed to like each other. But I do think that it was important for you guys to get to that place of forgiveness and understanding, not agreement, not that you was right, I was wrong, but things happen. We were young. We made this decision. We made that decision. This is what came out of that decision. And the fact that Lil was 15 when the first time he can remember going somewhere with just you two.
You remember that day we went to get him fitted for his suit for the
Tim
wedding? And how he was smiling, he was cheesing. I'm like, why you cheesing?
It was just me, you,
and
me
and him. He was like, I was like, why you cheesing like that? He said, I don't remember us being like
together.
that. So he was cheesing. He was like, I was like, dude, you hype, huh? He was like, he was trying to be cool with it, but you can see it.
I know, I do see it.
I think that it's important for parents that do end up splitting to have something safe and respectful, because as long as Odell's make sure that I'm understanding where he's, where you guys stand, and my trust is with him.
Right.
I'm not gonna have my issue with you. I'm not gonna call you.
That was the hard part for me, to try to bridge that gap, like for you to understand that I'm not trying to get with her, but I still gotta have a relationship with her.
Yeah, but you would avoid telling me. I remember one time Lil told me that, Daddy and Mommy was talking. They was talking for a long time. I said, when was this? And he told me, and I said, Odell, why didn't you tell me, that you and Ebony had a talk?
I don't even know how to start that. By the way, me and Ebony was talking for 4 hours.
Like, it's not what it is.
I don't even know how to start that conversation. Like,
just say it. Just say, hey, I talked to Ebony today. I think we had. You don't have to tell me word for word, but just say we had a good conversation.
But the thing about it, like y'all just said on the podcast previously, that y'all talk for hours. You don't tell me. I talk. She don't.
I do tell you.
You don't tell me. Every time y'all talk, you do not tell me, PJs.
I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I tell you everything verbatim what we talk about. But I'll say I talked to Ebony today, and you're like, oh, what y'all talk about?
But if you don't say it, I'm fine.
That's the misconception that you have. You're fine. I'm telling you, I'm not fine when I find it out in a different manner, because it's never been about you two. I never felt that. I never felt shade from you. I never felt anything from him. Like, when we met, I asked him what the deal was, and I never felt anything different. I felt like both of y'all were honest about that. But I don't want to start something where you kind of hiding something from me. That's being married, period. Don't start hiding bags when you purchase stuff. So don't. It's okay to tell me that you had a conversation.
I'm gonna have some stuff in my shoes because you be asking me questions.
Oh my God! I get all the credit card reports. But I think it is important to keep communication on both ends.
Absolutely.
And I think you didn't understand the importance of, because I don't care, that as a woman, I
didn't know the effects.
I didn't know the effects. I didn't know how to lead the situation, honestly. And I tried to avoid it, but I was the leader in all of this. I had to lead properly. I didn't know how to. So I said avoidance was easy for me.
Yeah.
If I don't talk to you, then I can't mess it up.
Yeah.
I didn't say the wrong thing. I didn't say nothing.
They say nothing.
I didn't say nothing.
Even though you avoided, you did mess it up.
But for a long time, that's what I was sticking with.
Yeah.
And I was feeling the same way. So now we can see why it was no communication.
Yeah,
interaction.
I was the bridge, and I just kept moving. Every time we started traveling, trying to get over that bridge, I'd move.
And that's what would happen is that's why it was a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
Because we would get to a place, and then I think it's too hard. We don't want to persevere through.
Yeah, it was resistance, but not in a bad way. But it was just a lot of stuff.
We don't know how the tread.
Yeah.
Because I think we expected one conversation to be this to saving grace, but it wasn't. We did multiple conversations to talk about. Like, I never understood. I never knew what was important to you, right? You might have been like, I don't care about Christmas, but Mother said I want him here. That was never established.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you can go with that and assume.
Right.
I could say, well, I want him to at least call me on my birthday if he's with you. You know what I mean? Like, just things like that that we didn't communicate. It's so that we could be, compassionate to each other and the things that are important. But I blame you.
Oh, absolutely. I blame me.
Yeah.
Hot seat.
And I'm fine with it.
We strategically put you in.
No, but I think I had the correct conversations and the ones I needed to have with you too. And I remember the one I had with you. Mm-hmm. It got a little heated a little bit.
A lot of heated.
Yeah, but
because I felt like you were attacking me, and I'm like, I just want us all to get along.
I wasn't attacking you because I still had to wear two hats. Like I had to please you. I had to make sure that you understood that. Okay, we were talking, but we were talking about this, and it was very detail oriented. I didn't feel like going into detail because you would have questions like you have about everything.
I do.
You got questions. Like, what did y'all talk about? I'm like that. She's like, well, what else? I'm like, that's it. She's like, y'all was on the phone for 4 hours. Like she wanted details. Like she do that about everything.
I am.
And I didn't have the capacity to say I don't feel like answering all those questions. So I figured I just stopped telling her. I said I talked to you. I wouldn't tell her. And then she'll find out later on. And then it kind of felt like I was hiding something. But it wasn't the case. I just don't feel like answering a lot of questions. So I've come to a point where I understand. You know what? I know my place in this. I know how I had to operate. So I stopped fighting.
I hope you understand that I wasn't asking you so that I can be in your business.
Not out of mistrust. I understand it.
To get a gear on what's the
flow.
What's going on with you guys? Because when you guys weren't beefing, sometimes that would overflow to us. So to understand, like, well, are y'all good? Like, do you feel like that was a good conversation? Do you feel like, are y'all making leeway? Things like that from that perspective. Because I want to make that clear. I don't want to make it seem like I was just like, so what y'all talking about? But it definitely was with purpose.
But me and her talk. I told her, I said, we've been going back and forth for these years. I said, I don't think you understand that I have a genuine, I still care about you. I want you to be happy. I said, as long as you happy, this whole thing works. I don't think she never heard me come to her at a point.
I told her that's important.
I said, you know what? I said, I don't care about who you decide to be with as long as you're happy. I said, if you're happy, then this whole situation works well.
And then when she got we'll talk about that. It just made it complete. But it's just, full circle. We had to go through this.
Yeah.
We have to go through this. And I always say this, I'm bragging on myself, but it wouldn't be what it is without somebody like me. Like, I wasn't, like it never, and to be honest with you, you never made it about, it's not like you were this messy woman who was like, oh, that was my man, or no. It never came down to that. So those are key things too that we just didn't have to deal with.
Thank God.
Yes.
That would have made it even worse.
It was just this is kind of people trying to figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
So thank you too for sharing, being vulnerable, and discussing the importance of forgiveness and how that impacts communication. It sets the foundation for a dope-ass blended family.
That's us.
I agree.
All right, the next episode we will include Ebony's better half. And so we can come around full circle and let you guys know how dope is handling blended families.